Hello, everyone. I'm here. You may know me from my channel where I talk about language, communication, and culture. Today, we are going to talk about one of my favorite hypotheticals. What if humans never developed language? This is a question that has kept me up at night for years. I mean, what would we even be doing right now? Would we still be making videos and watching videos? Maybe not. There's no way of knowing what would have happened if this crucial part of our evolution had gone differently. But it's fun to speculate. So let's dive in. I'm going to try to answer 3 questions today. What is language? How did it evolve? And how would our lives look different if humans never developed language? First things first, what is language? A precise definition of language is surprisingly difficult to pin down. I'll simplify it like I do in my Crash Course Linguistics lesson on language. A language is a system of symbols and rules that humans use to communicate and interact with each other. Languages include spoken or signed words, grammar, and often writing and other symbols. Humans have dozens of unique languages, but animals communicate too. Bird songs are an example of communication. But they are not considered languages because birds don't have the same kind of complex grammar that humans do. Another feature that makes human languages special is productivity, or the ability to combine words to create novel phrases and sentences. We can say, "The purple dog jumped over the lazy fox," even though we've never before said or heard that exact phrase. Animal communication isn't nearly as flexible. Bees perform different dances depending on where the nearest food source is, but they don't name colors or have adjectives like lazy or purple. Human language is also generative, which means its users can understand and produce an infinite number of possible sentences. By some estimates, there are an infinite number of possible English sentences. That's pretty cool. Now that we've defined language, how did it evolve? The evolutionary origins of language, aka the origin of language, is a mystery. It's impossible to know for sure how language began since we can't study the evolution of language directly. But scholars have lots of ideas. They believe that language probably evolved gradually over hundreds of thousands of years and that early hominins like Homo erectus were among the first to use something like language. Our distant ancestors likely started using symbolic communication like gestures and drawings as early as 300,000 years ago. These symbols grew more sophisticated as hominins continued to evolve, and eventually, our species began using sounds to represent objects, actions, and ideas. Some scholars think humans and Neanderthals even had a common proto-language. Now let's get to the main event. What life would be like if humans never developed language. As you might imagine, life without language would be very different. No languages, no written word, no sign language, not even the ability to use words in our heads. We would still be able to make sounds and express some needs and wants. After all, babies can do that before they learn to speak. But language allows us to do so much more than make basic statements. With language, we can describe abstract concepts, tell stories, share knowledge across generations, plan for the future, argue, flirt, negotiate, teach, deceive, persuade. Without language, human society and culture would look very different. Some scholars hypothesize that humans need language to have culture, which itself is the set of shared beliefs and practices of a group of people. Since humans are the only species known to have culture, this means that humans would probably not have culture if we didn't have language. Language helps us share ideas and build on each other's knowledge. For example, humans invented agriculture independently multiple times after the domestication of plants and animals. This technological leap was made possible by language. People could pass down their knowledge of planting seeds and caring for crops to the next generation. Without language, knowledge doesn't reliably pass down. Think about how many things you learned just this year. Now imagine trying to remember every single thing you learned without ever being able to write anything down or discuss your experiences with others. Knowledge simply gets lost when it's not shared. Even if humans did develop some kind of record-keeping without language, it would be very difficult to preserve knowledge over generations. I'm thinking about ancient civilizations that used tally marks or knotted ropes to keep track of things. Those methods are great, but they only allow for recording numbers and simple concepts. Language also enables humans to accumulate knowledge. Because language is a tool, it can be used to accomplish things. It's a way of understanding the world around us and interacting with it. Language helps us classify things based on their attributes. For example, in English, dog refers to a four-legged furry animal that barks. When we encounter a living thing that matches that description, we know it's a dog, and that knowledge allows us to act appropriately. We might pet a dog, but we wouldn't eat it like we might eat a pig. Animals don't have these kinds of categories. So without language, humans wouldn't be able to categorize the world the way we do. This means we would struggle to interact with our environment in the same way. We might not have invented farming or any other technology. We would have to figure out how to survive by trial and error, which would be much less efficient than using language to share knowledge and build on each other's experiences. Another major effect of not having language would be changes to our social interactions. Language helps us form relationships and influence other people. Without language, humans would have to rely on non-verbal communication like gestures and facial expressions. In addition to limiting what we could communicate, this would also limit the size of our social groups. Anthropologists have studied non-human primates extensively, and they've noticed that primates who live in larger groups tend to communicate more using gestures. Humans are primates, and our communication needs would be similar. If we couldn't use language, we would probably have smaller groups of up to around 150 members. Without language, gossip would also disappear. Gossip is an important way for humans to relate to others and understand their perspectives. Gossip also helps humans form alliances, maintain social order, and pass on information. Humans spend a lot of time discussing other humans. In fact, scientists have estimated that about 50% of our conversations are about other people. That means a lot of our social interactions would change if we didn't have language. We might not have the same drive to form alliances or even understand other people the way we do now. Humans spend a lot of time discussing abstract topics as well. We debate politics, religion, ethics, philosophy. Without language, humans probably wouldn't discuss these topics because there would be no way to talk about them. Humans would likely have no religions or belief systems that require abstract thought. Finally, without language, humans would probably not exist. Yes, I said it. Without language, humans wouldn't have survived long enough to get to where we are today. I know that statement might seem surprising, but humans are unique in our reliance on language. Babies need to hear their parents speaking to them in order to develop normally. Infants who are not exposed to language suffer from something called linguistic poverty, and they have trouble developing socially and emotionally. Basically, humans need language to develop as people. Without language, humans wouldn't have been able to take care of each other or cooperate. Other animals don't rely on language for infant development, so their societies can function without it. But humans do. Without language, humans would probably have gone extinct long before we became the dominant species on Earth. In short, language is central to everything humans do. It shapes our thoughts and guides our interactions with other humans and the world around us. It allows us to understand other people and convinces them to do what we want them to do. It enables us to create innovations and pass them down to the next generation. It lets us dream up new ideas and reflect on past experiences. I think it's safe to say that language makes us who we are. And if you want to learn more about the amazing aspects of language, you should check out my course on Wondrium. My course, Crash Course Linguistics, will teach you all about the science of language. We cover everything from the history of language to sociolinguistic daddy issues. We also have 27 episodes about writing. All 324 lessons are bite-sized and easy to digest. Plus, you get access to exclusive videos like Why Don't All Languages Sound Different? How Do We Know How Languages Work? and who speaks the oldest language in the world. Wondrium is a place where you can find all kinds of enriching and educational content, documentaries, how-tos, biographies. There's something for everyone. And they are constantly adding new content. Thanks for watching this video, which was filmed at a studio and made in partnership with a digital studio and Nature.